Yo, what's poppin', Bagel Bros, and welcome back to another Patreon rant. If you want one of these for yourself, be sure to give me $10 on Patreon. This one comes from KD Pack, who says, as a grown man, I probably shouldn't even be commenting under a text post, zesty, gay, but here we are. I've been very insecure lately. Do you have any advice/words of encouragement? My venerable Bagel-sama. Advice and words of encouragement. So the thing is, I know Rufus. He's a close friend of mine, and he does tend to be very down on himself about a lot of things. You know, he also has a YouTube channel which you should check out. It's called Anime Rufus. It's very cool. He makes a lot of good videos, and he puts a lot of effort in. You know, he works a part-time job. He takes care of his cat, who he found as a stray. She had a lot of medical issues. Her name is Dusty. And so he works extremely hard, and he doesn't really get that many results in terms of views on YouTube, which is probably part of the issue. He's been getting a lot of views lately on TikTok, as a TikTok femboy, which I'm very happy about. And I hope he's able to convert at least a little bit of that into YouTube success. Or at the very least, you know, get some amount of money from TikTok that's like meaningful. I would really, because he has a goal of becoming an artist, becoming a YouTuber, etc. And I really do want him to make it. Part of the issue is just that AniTube is so hard to make it on. And I say this as someone who did AniTube for years. I talked about anime on a near monthly basis. I made a lot of great videos too. I to this day, I think I had some of the best anime videos in the game. And it just wasn't enough. You really need to, if you're making videos about anime, it has to be about seasonal slop, whatever's currently trending, currently coming out. And if it's not that, you know, maybe you can craft a niche for yourself. What I would suggest in terms of like just YouTube optics and YouTube strategy, I guess, is like as soon as you find a niche that works, go all in on it and see if you can make it continue to work. But honestly, it's just so hard to make it on AniTube. And like, I hope you find a way to make it work. Or if not, at the very least, find a niche that you're happy with. Preferably not internet documentaries, because dear God, those take so much time, so much effort. I'm working hard here. But this is about Rufus. Rufus is genuinely one of the smartest people I know. And I know this is going to sound very egotistical, but he also is one of the most similar people to myself that I've ever seen. I know the combination of those two things makes it feel like I'm an egotistical fucking narcissist. But seriously, like he's a smarter version of myself, and I've said this to his face. I think his brain literally has more capacity to remember things and, you know, calculate things than mine. But he's also very similar to myself. We both come at things from a very similar worldview and perspective. We both agree on like almost everything. Not literally everything, because obviously, you know, we aren't literally the same. We do have different lived experiences, very different lived experiences in a lot of ways. But you know, we come from the same general perspective, but he's, you know, very intelligent, like extremely intelligent, one of the smartest people I know. But also, he's way more socially competent and outgoing than me. He's genuinely one of the funniest people I know. Like, I always have a blast talking with him in VC, and I think he is one of the most foundational members of our friend group, in the sense that I don't think anybody really dislikes him there. In fact, I think most people outright love him, including me. And yeah, like without him, it just fundamentally wouldn't be the same. Like, for instance, like whenever he, you know, VCs in his server, like other people, like the way it works with personal friend servers is that there's always one person, typically the owner of the server, who, if they're in VC, everyone else is in VC. And if they aren't in VC, then nobody else is in VC. Like as soon as Rufus is in VC, the whole squad is pulling up. And if it's anybody else, it tends to not be as poppin'. And it's the same with my server, where if I'm in VC, a lot more people tend to join. If I'm not in VC, it tends to die off pretty quick. So I think you're really undervaluing yourself. Like, especially, like, certainly as a friend, but, as an artist, like, I think you are improving very quickly, and I do think your videos are good. It's just so hard to feel that way consistently when, like, you can never get consistent views and output. And it's like, it just comes down to the YouTube meta is hard to understand. It's hard to get to a point where you know what works. Like, I spent years getting barely any views, and then I had a few videos blow up, and it was on me to do my best to keep the views high, keep my numbers high, and it didn't always work out, especially in AnyTube. But you just gotta, I believe in you. Like, I seriously think you do have the drive to see it through. If you, like, if getting more views is your problem, I'd say just experiment, find something that works and double down on it. If you definitely, like, look into how thumbnails work, how titles work, and, like, coming up with something that you think is good, iterating on that thumbnail over and over again. The problem, like, I've given him thumbnail advice before, but I can just never make good thumbnails for AnyTube. Like, I'm not convinced I can. Meanwhile, whenever it's, something internet documentary related, all of a sudden, like, my thumbnails do work and I do get views. Maybe it's just something to do with AnyTube being such a hard niche to get anything done in. I'm being serious, by the way. Like, AnyTube is so hard to get views in. As soon as I stepped away from AnyTube, I immediately got way more views. Like, it was like a weight had been lifted off my channel. Seriously consider finding something else. But obviously, like, if you do something else, your current fan base probably won't be as into it because they're here for anime. It's a complicated situation. It sucks in a lot of ways. But I seriously do hope you make it, man. That's about it. See